Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever this video finds you, I hope you're having a rad time. I'm the Figure Dude, and on today's action figure showcase, I'm going to take a look at all of my Shawn Michaels figures. Without further ado, let's talk about some figures. Dude. Welcome back. Like I said, today I am going to take a look at all of my Shawn Michaels figures, and I'm almost positive I have done this one on the channel before, but I've picked a lot of Shawn Michaels up in the last couple years. I don't even know. It's been a while since I went through all of my Shawn Michaels figures, and I have a bunch of customs with him planned as well. And once I really started going through, like, picking all of them out, I had a ton. And the ones I wanted to start out with here are the rockers. So obviously, Marty Jannetty has had his issues. We'll just leave it at that. So I don't think Marty Jannetty's getting a Mattel figure anytime soon. We've seen solo releases of rockers Shawn Michaels, and I want to say there's another one coming, maybe like a rocker Shawn coming in the Legends line. Maybe I'm making that up. But obviously, there's different avenues to getting a Marty Jannetty head sculpt. 3XR Studio has one in his 3D library. I actually have some rockers that I plan on making, and I'm going to use one of those prints as well as like a Shawn Michaels print he has in there. But these were the original Legends rockers, and I think these are some fantastic figures. These would be at the top of my list for a re-release if that was possible. My only issue with them is that they don't move at all. I cannot move these legs, and I don't want to. I really like these figures, and I have no reason to really be posing them around. I would like to. I think like these are very toyetic. I love the soft goods shirts. They do have the soft goods ribbon on their waist there, and I like how they did the zebra pattern around the boots. I think that's cool. I'm taking a lot of ideas from this to make my own set. I'm really excited to make those as well. I picked these up from Ringside back in the day for like $8.99 when they had a bunch of their stock get ruined by hurricane weather. And I just thought Mattel was going to be really cheap, and I was very wrong. But nonetheless, these are two fantastic figures. It's unfortunate. Like, I don't think we're going to be getting those again. But like I said, I've got some of my own coming, and looking forward to that. So moving on to singles, Shawn Michaels. Okay, before I moved on to my other Shawn Michaels, I want to give you guys a sneak peek of my rockers. I just got these shirts in from Threadhead. They fit great. They obviously fit a little bit tighter than those other ones. They really have that crop top look. I think these are going to look awesome once I can get around to them and get done using all like soft goods as much as I can, but I had to give you guys a sneak peek. Next up are a couple very nostalgic favorites of mine, more the red one, but we've got the Legends HBK and then the Ringside exclusive. The only thing here is that I swapped the arms, so I put the double jointed arms onto the Ringside exclusive, and I remember picking that up. I was like desperate to get it. I had the Jax look for that Shawn Michaels, and it was one of my favorite Jax figures I had. And the Ringside exclusive, I don't remember why. Like, I think I was just waiting to pick it up on Black Friday or something. For some reason, it was at that moment, it was very urgent. I pick it up, and I was like waiting at my phone trying to get my order through on Black Friday to make sure that I got this figure. But I think it's a great formula for him. I'm glad they like put knee pads on it. The knee pads obviously aren't the same color as his tights, which is an issue with some of the other ones, is that they don't give him knee pads, but I'm glad we do have the black knee pads over that attire. This is the Shawn Michaels Shawn Michaels is my favorite wrestler, followed by Jeff Hardy. So I've always been a big Shawn fan, and this was like the Shawn Michaels I grew up with. I've talked before too about how WrestleMania 9 was one of the first WrestleManias I watched, and for me it's very nostalgic. Shawn Michaels won at that one. Obviously the Hogan shenanigans are what people typically talk about with that. But for me, I was like, this is like Shawn Michaels won. He beat Tatanka. It was cool for me. So the black version just the plain black and white here was a Legends re-release, and I was glad they re-released it because we hadn't really gotten this look. The hair is different on it, but again, like I said, very nostalgic look for me. I do wish they'd do more with the boots instead of just painting them over the kick pads, but maybe that's something we can get in like the Ultimate Edition line, or like a remold at some point. But two good Shawns, nostalgic for me, maybe not the best ones we've gotten. I like the vest and everything, but we've definitely gotten better. So moving on. Next up, we have a custom of mine, and then the black and white. I don't remember which line we got that in. I feel like I got it in a Walmart exclusive set, but I really don't remember. I don't think it was like the Legends line or anything. I'm like drawing a complete blank on that one. I do like the vest that we got with it. I'm sure if it was a Target exclusive, it probably would have clearance at some point, and I would have picked up a bunch of these. So it couldn't have been Target. They use the same head sculpt as the ringside exclusive, same formula and everything. And then the white one is a custom of mine, and that is his Royal Rumble from 94? 5? I can't remember. It was the Royal Rumble that he won and then went on to lose to Diesel. And I just always thought it was such a cool look with the zebra knee pads. He's got the red boots, obviously, which was a little bit different. And just like the white with the red, red's my favorite color, so I've always been a little bit impartial to red attires. But I've liked this head sculpt. I know a lot of people don't. It's maybe not a spot-on likeness, but I always liked the hair. I thought that was one of the better looks Mattel did for that era of Shawn with his hair like that. And I did paint a shadow on him, which I'm gonna repaint and probably repaint the hair as well now that I've gotten a lot better. But as far as looks go, this is one of my favorite Shawns, and it's a custom of mine too, so that adds a little bit to it. But again, same kind of look for Shawn Michaels, different color palette on him. So moving on. Next up, we have the SummerSlam and WrestleMania 10 looks for Shawn here, and the SummerSlam one was in the Network Spotlight Wave at Toys R Us. I remember that one for sure. And this is most of the attires we've gotten from Shawn have either been white or black, and this was one that popped because it was in that tealish blue kind of color. The knee pads I did do myself, so I took those from an Elite Miz figure, basic Miz, I can't remember, and then just drew the kind of zebra pattern on there, and then I added the motocross racing decals. So the thing again, I wish they obviously can't take those logos and do the Shawn boots, but I wish they'd give us something different. I'd almost want the Billy Gunn boots if they could just make them a little taller, which I even wish they'd make them a little bit taller for Billy Gunn, so they were like the kick pad height, but they had the molded pieces on there, which I don't think we really have a figure like that. Maybe the closest we might have would be the Barbarian boots, maybe, but I don't know, we'll be getting a different mold with the Booker T figures, those WCW Booker T, so maybe those could be an option. Those aren't completely accurate, but anyway, these are two figures that the SummerSlam figure fixed up, I'm happy with. It's fine. No entrance gear, hat, anything. And then the WrestleMania 10 figure I was really excited for, but the hips on it are so jacked up, I can barely move it. The foot on one of the left foot, I think, is the joint is kind of messed up, so then he stands crooked. And it was a set where I wanted it for the Shawn, I liked the Razor, and then I was really disappointed by it. So just standing there looking at it, sure, it's fine. WrestleMania 10 is such an iconic moment for Shawn Michaels, and I feel like they kind of dropped the ball with this figure. The head sculpt, the hairpiece I think was a little bit different. I don't know if the actual face was, and there's no hair on his chest. The vest, it looks good, but it was a re-release and I expected a lot more, so for that it kind of dropped down the list. But again, SummerSlam 1 is all right, so we're moving on to some more that I do have much more fun takes on. Next up is the Amazon Takeover Ultimate Edition Shawn and the SummerSlam Sherry, which I'm pretty sure these go together. I think these are the attires that match together. And I know some people did not like this torso for Shawn. I like this more than the original torso they used for the Ultimate Editions. He wasn't like huge, but he wasn't like super small and ripped. Like they've just used some different stuff for Shawn. I thought this one fit. It's a little big, and you'll see it again on the Ultimate Edition, the WrestleMania 12 one. I don't have the entrance clothes on there, but I loved this figure. I picked up a few of it. The legs are the same. I think the feet are different because they've got the double jointed or single jointed articulated toe, and then he's got like the double jointed arms and everything, obviously. But I really like the head sculpt. I've used a bunch of these for customs. The hat, the glasses, just I'm a big Shawn Michaels fan, obviously. I like the chaps, I liked the jacket, the vest. Just I was very happy with this figure. I know some people weren't. And then the Sherry just looks fantastic. I think this is a really nice figure. Does not articulate well at all. But to really talk about the like formula and everything, I want to move on to the WrestleMania 12 one. So let's take a look at that. All right, so we have a couple here. So the one with the entrance gear was the original custom Ultimate Edition I had made. That has the skinnier torso, which I'm trying to look over on my pile here. I don't have any that don't have entrance gear on. So that was the original. They used it for his Survivor Series Ultimate Edition, and then I don't think they used it after that. They gave him this bigger torso, which I wanted him to have a bigger torso. And I actually did a work in progress Wednesday where I swapped off this torso and gave him the Razor Ramon Ultimate Edition torso, and then I put this onto the Razor Ramon, which I think size-wise fits both of them much better. It still gives them the right look, but Shawn Michaels was not larger than Razor Ramon, so like build wise I thought it fit better. I don't hate it. I saw some people really critique this Ultimate Edition. It was the San Diego Comic-Con one we just got. A lot of people had a lot of issues with some like smaller things. I was happy with it. I've been on record saying I'm pretty easy to please as far as it comes to figures and everything. I think the back of the tights logo, it was like the wrong color scheme. I can't remember. I don't even remember everything. I don't pay close enough attention to detail. I try to. That's always one of my focus. That's like one of my things I want to do better with customs this year. But with this one, I used I think it's the first sculpt we got with the Amazon one, where he had the earrings, and I glued those in there because those flipping things fall out so easy and I would never find them. So I did put those on there. There's like a promo shot, I'm pretty sure, of Shawn with the entrance gear, his hair like that, and earrings and everything. So that's kind of what I was going for with it. I do like the new entrance gear that just pops on instead of the old one that is like all soft goods. I think it'll just last longer. But again, like I said, the Ultimate Edition we got, San Diego Comic-Con one, I was relatively happy with. I liked that the head sculpts were a little different with the hair. Like it captured his hair a little bit better, and then we got like the crying kind of look for him at the end of the match, which I thought was really cool. I don't think I'm gonna do anything with the little pulley that we got. It was a cool accessory, but for the most part, I was happy with it. Like I said, I don't know, maybe it's just the people that were most unhappy with it were just the most vocal, but I did see that quite a bit. As far as it goes for me, Iron Man Shawn Michaels was a pretty good figure pickup. So moving on. Next up are a couple of Shawns where we weren't quite to the DX. Whoopsie. We weren't quite to DX Shawn, but my dad hated Shawn Michaels so much, which maybe that was a part of why I liked him. But I remember him just loathing Shawn Michaels, and he was like popular with kids, but I think a lot of adults couldn't stand him, and that. Like I said, maybe that's why I like Shawn Michaels so much. But I've got my Dudes with Attitudes custom, and I did have the matching Diesel with that. I didn't grab Diesel off the shelf. It's just a Network Spotlight Diesel, and I slapped one single decal on him. I did like this look for Shawn, and as far as I'm concerned, I want every look that he had, even if it's just like a different look for his knee pads or something like that. So this was one I wanted to make. I think I just had the decals available from 3XR, and that I printed those off and made them. Obviously, we've got the boots and everything updated there, and then we've got the, I think it was Defining Moments on ringside, where I maybe can see this being like, I think it's arguable that that was a defining moment for Shawn Michaels to, I think that was when he came back and won, or maybe he lost the title then to Sid Vicious. I'm trying to remember exactly. But I did like getting this entrance attire, and I'm glad they're giving us entrance attire. At least the sequins and everything, obviously, it's just printed on there, so it's not perfect. But I don't know if that's something that's even feasible. I feel like that would be pretty hard, unless you're doing the rubber goods for his entrance gear. So you like, there's some give and take there. Like the hand paint was kind of messed up, you can see on the tape there, but the attire still looked good. I think that likeness for Shawn is pretty decent, but they just gave new hair to the elite, the basic 100 Shawn, which is like Ruthless Aggression Shawn. So didn't love that. And the head sits pretty low, which is, I don't know if you can quite tell just from looking at it here. You can see more when you take off the entrance gear and everything, but still a figure I was pretty happy with. And really, I was just happy to get that Texas attire, because that was one that was high on my list for a while. So not top of the list for me, but still pretty decent figure. And then obviously I love my own custom there. Next up is the Elite 19, I think. And then the attire here, I think, is from the Sunny Days promo. I'm pretty sure that's what, I wasn't sure. Curbstomp had this on his website, and I'm pretty sure that's what someone had told me. So that's what I've been going with. That was one of my favorite customs I did on a Work in Progress Wednesday, like very early on in the channel. I've got, like, I kind of painted the boots there, and I would like to go, like, fix those up a little bit more. Like I said, it was very, very early on in just the channel, so when I was really starting to like spread my wings customizing wise, I used one of those Ultimate Edition head sculpts, which I think is way better than what's on the Elite 19. And like I said, he doesn't have the knee pads, which was an issue. I've seen a lot of people fix up the entrance gear and cut out where it needed to be and added the webbing to it, and then they did like a dark wash on the shoulder part of it, and it looks fantastic. I will probably get around to doing that now that I've gotten a little bit better at things. But I thought that was a decent figure. At the time, I thought it was pretty cool to get that kind of look with the entrance and everything. And we are getting into like DX Shawn here. But the head sculpt, the longer hair down head sculpt, I've always gone back and forth with. I think in general, the hair is good. I think it's fitting, but I don't know about the likeness. I think like a 5 o'clock shadow is needed on a lot of these Shawns, which kind of takes it away, like takes out the likeness for me. But I have a hard time going back and forth whether or not like I'm correct, whether I'm correct on that. I really don't know if I've heard a lot of people discuss that one, but these are, like I said, getting into DX Shawn, but the actual DX Shawn Michaels figures I think are fantastic. Next up, like I said, I love all three of these, and admittedly, there has been some fixing up here. So we've got the Survivor Series look, we've got WrestleMania 14, and then the actual like DX attire. I'm pretty sure he wore it in Your House against Ken Shamrock. I could be wrong there. I'm pretty sure that's when he wore it though. So all of these I bought extra Shawns and fixed them up. So originally with the Ultimate Edition line, they had the pegs in the arms, so I could just pop on the normal Elite lower arms and have those on the Ultimate Edition arms, which was, I didn't like the pegs are huge, so I don't think they look good, but it was nice to be able to swap those on instead of having to like find the whole arm to swap on. And like if you swap the old basic arms onto the Ultimate Editions, like the peg doesn't sit right. So I did like that initially, but like the pinless looks so much better. WrestleMania 14 Shawn was in the WrestleMania 30 wave with WrestleMania 10 Bret Hart, and I got that at Toys R Us, and that still is probably my favorite Shawn head sculpt. And it is very specific because he has the braids and everything. Like that was very specific to WrestleMania 14, and maybe he did his hair like that another time, but I still think that's the best sculpt they've given us for Shawn as far like the size the hair is not an extra piece, which I think it helps with it. It did have the shadow on him, or on his beard there, and this is another one I've seen people fix up the entrance gear so it had all the correct colors on it, and it looks good. I just don't know if I have the patience to do that. Maybe one day when I have nothing else to customize, which we know that's not going to be anytime soon. But that's probably my favorite Shawn, at least of this era. And then the other DX Shawns I do like a lot. I know the biggest thing with the DX one, the black and green DX one, was that he should have had some blue highlights on the X's, which I think is a huge miss. I don't know if he wore an attire that didn't have that. I know Curb Stomp has the decals to fix that, to remedy that, and you probably could paint it on pretty easily, but again, like, you shouldn't have to. I always remembered it having the blue highlights, so even though the entrance gear is nice, even though I like everything about the figure, honestly, that was kind of a letdown. And then obviously Montreal Screwjob Shawn Michaels, I do like that they kind of switched here, so they had the like rubber piece that goes around the waist and then the soft goods, which I think now they've mostly just gone to all soft goods around, like, for the whole part, which I don't know if I necessarily have a preference for, but I did like that. And then that vest fit's fantastic. I've got a couple of them, so I've put them on like my Ruthless Aggression Shawn, because I'm pretty sure he wore that vest more than once, maybe at like WrestleMania 19, I want to say. But like I said, 2 or 3 great Shawns here. I did not pick up the greatest hits release of WrestleMania 14 Shawn. I thought this old sculpt looked better, actually, so I actually passed up on that one, and this is what I've got. I did paint the beard shadow on here, and then I did a dark wash in the hair, so always some fixing up I can do with these Shawns to make these head sculpts a little better, in my opinion. But nonetheless, I like all 3 of these. Time to move on to the Ruthless Aggression era. Alright, so I did accidentally skip over one of these Shawns here, and it's because I forgot I had picked this up recently. So we've got the Commissioner Shawn Build-A-Figure, which was I'm trying to remember, we got that in a Walmart exclusive set. I actually think it was the set that had the original King Harley Race figure, and that was weird distribution. Very few people had it. Harley Race was very expensive on the secondary market for a long time, and that was originally the only way to get the Build-A-Figure Commissioner Shawn Michaels. So we did get the re-release in the Monday Night Wars line. I think the original one was in a gray or brown or like a tan suit, so this one is different. I'm satisfied with either look. This works for me. This head sculpt I think is like what we got with the WrestleMania 12 one. The hair's a little bit bigger, but he's got the cowboy hat on, so didn't really care there. And then we did move on to the Ruthless Aggression side on the other half here with my WrestleMania 19 Shawn, which is a big want on my list. I made this for Work in Progress Wednesday with a different Shawn. Just got rid of the design, put on the knee pads and everything. And then that head sculpt actually was one of the Ultimate Edition sculpts. And then I shaved down the hair and then added a Billy Gunn hair piece. So I kind of made my own soccer mom Shawn Michaels hair there, and it worked. And then we got and then they made the Survivor Series one, so we'll take a look at that as well. But I'm really excited for the Street Fight Shawn Michaels we're getting in the SummerSlam wave, both that and the Triple H. That is like one of the core memories of my wrestling watching when I was younger, when Shawn came back. And then as a kid, as a 10-year-old kid, I was like, oh, never mind, like Triple H just killed Shawn Michaels. I hate this guy. He just killed my favorite wrestler. But obviously it went a little bit differently than 10-year-old me thought, but I still had to make WrestleMania 19 Shawn, and he's very high on my wants list going into this next year. So fingers crossed, but till then, he'll work. I actually realized while I was talking there that I hadn't grabbed him off the shelf. So here is that Shawn sculpt, and there was just so much about this figure that I kind of just like shook my head at. So they didn't really change up the formula for his legs, which I didn't dislike, but they gave him cowboy boots with the kick pad upper, which just looks ridiculous. I don't know why we couldn't give him some Sami Zayn legs like that. I would have been okay with. I'm sure there's someone else that I could think of in the next, I don't know, 30 minutes that would have worked better for these legs. But at the same time, I was pumped to just get this because this is one of the worst attires I have ever seen. Just awful. And it was like, allegedly it wasn't finished, so like on the sides it just has an H on both sides, so I'm sure there was supposed to be a B and a K somewhere, some hearts or something. But whoever thought the color scheme of brown, white, or brown, silver, and bluish purple was gonna be a good one, just missed the boat completely. I don't know what the thought process was there, but it is such an iconic moment because Shawn Michaels, it was the first Elimination Chamber. It was his first world title in years after coming back, and it was his only title run. He did have a while after that where he's still in the picture, but he never won the belt again. And like I said, I was a huge Shawn Michaels fan. He came back. That pay-per-view is actually my personal favorite. It was Survivor Series 2002, I think it was. It was on my actual birthday. Everything about it just was awesome. And then Shawn Michaels just gives me this absolute atrocious looking attire. And Jax even made this, and they made it in black. Like, it was black with the right deco on it. But even they were like, we can't do this. This is so ugly. We've got to just make it. We can't make this figure brown. Outside of all the weird things I listed as issues, it was cool to get this figure. The brown, I did see someone the other day repainting it a little bit darker brown, which I don't know, I think might be accurate. I don't despise this, but I just need more of this head sculpt. The likeness is fine, but the hair, I think, is spot on for what they needed to do. So I really just need more soccer mom Shawn Michaels, because even after this, he had a few attires with this look still that I'd love to get. But that is the last of the like early Ruthless Aggression. So now we've got some more like better looking Shawn Michaels. Next up are just a couple of really easy fix-ups. I had extra parts for Shawn Michaels, and we haven't gotten a tights version of Shawn Michaels during the Ruthless Aggression era. We've gotten a lot of the like chaps pants look, and I'm glad we've gotten those, but we haven't gotten any Shawns with this look. And like, I still don't really know if we have any on the horizon. So the red one, both of these were the Ultimate Editions, and then I just took some existing pieces, pieced them together, and kind of gave myself that Shawn to fill in that spot. So not entirely accurate. I did try to change up the boots a little bit so that they fit better. Like, I painted the toes on the red one silver, and even the knee pads, you can see those are from the Elite or Basic 100 set. So instead of the white and red hearts, it's silver and red. So really just didn't put a lot into these, just had the extra pieces. So I might actually like scrap these and redo it and give myself a proper Ruthless Aggression Shawn look here. But head sculpt wise, I do like the one on the black tights more. That was the Basic 100 as well. The other head sculpt I think is fine. I think they reused it. I'm looking over here. I think that they reused that on another Shawn. We'll take a look at that. But Shawn Michaels is a guy whose likenesses I think they've done an okay job with. His hairstyles I think have been very unique, just different, so it's easy to nail those, and I feel like that lends itself to the head sculpt. But still, like, expression wise, I don't know if they've quite nailed Shawn Michaels. He's far from the worst on Mattel's list of people that they have a hard time with, but again, just some kind of basic Shawns here, nothing too special. So moving on. Next up are a couple of Ruthless Aggression Shawns in the pants look now. So I thought it was pretty cool when he switched to these. I was a little torn because obviously as a big Shawn Michaels fan, the tights are what I always thought of, but I do think it represents very different eras of Shawn, and I appreciate both of them. So this was really like that, once we like the middle and end of Ruthless Aggression. or like at least like the prime of it, for in my opinion. So he was in DX at this point. They'd kind of come back together. I think WrestleMania 23 was where he wore this red and white attire, and he actually came out to the DX music but did not have on DX colors. I think it was WrestleMania 22 when they started to do the crotch chop again and like hinting that they were coming back together. So I'd like to get that attire as well. That was like a gray, red, and black look. But these ones, I think this Shawn might have been the first. The green and black one was the first one I picked up with the pants look, and I was excited to get that. We're gonna get the re-release of Shawn in the Ultimate Edition line. If it's gonna be the like Legends or the Target exclusive one, but that should match that Ultimate Edition of Triple H in the DX look. Obviously, no entrance attire for these guys. I think DX Shawn might have come with a t-shirt. That was the Walgreens one. And again, it's that same head sculpt for him as the red Shawn that I had. And then the black one, black tights one I just looked at, shares the same head sculpt here. But this one does have the 5 o'clock shadow on his beard there. So I do like that. We got this in the Ruthless Aggression wave at Walmart, I think. So that was cool. There's still like some other Shawns I would have liked, but nonetheless, these still look good. I do like the pants look. But like I said, there's some more, like for me personally, like more iconic Shawns. I mean, he had a lot of just iconic moments in my opinion. Maybe you're not a Shawn fan, but a lot, like WrestleMania, really every WrestleMania, especially against Shawn Michaels. That's one of my, against Kurt Angle, WrestleMania 21, I think. That's one of my favorite matches. Love it. If I could just get a full set of WrestleMania Shawns, that'd be cool. But moving on, because we've got some more to talk about. All right, next up, moving on to, like I said, some more of Shawn Michaels, like defining WrestleMania moments. Here we've got the WrestleMania 25 and 26 looks. So the one without entrance gear is the most recent pickup. That was from Ringside. They re-released the WrestleMania 25 Shawn. That was originally the like defining moments, I think, and I had missed out on that. I didn't have any of the entrance gear, but that was from like what I still think are a couple of the best matches in WWE history. His 2 matches against Undertaker at WrestleMania, but they did upgrade the hips. So the original had the ratchet joints. He does have ball joints on the new one, double jointed arms, and they gave him a different head sculpt, which I thought was interesting. I do like I said, I like that other one a little bit more. That older head sculpt is on the WrestleMania 26 Shawn here, and at least they gave the shadow on him. I think that helps. I just think that this likeness looks a little bit better. I'm not sure what about it. I think maybe like the size too is a little bit bigger. This one, I think this was in one of the WrestleMania Build-A-Figure waves. Maybe there wasn't a Build-A-Figure. I think it was in a WrestleMania wave. We got the Bret Hart in his street clothes from like when he returned in that same wave, I'm pretty sure. But this one did come with the small white elbow pad. And this one, I've kind of been messing around trying to make some elbow pads out of elastic. So that's what I did there. Been kind of trying to see if that'll work for some CM Punk customs I want to work on. But as far as the entrance gear, like the coat, the vest, I think look awesome on the other Shawn, and that was the original, and it doesn't move as well, so I just kept the entrance gear there. I do have I have him posed next to Undertaker on my shelf. And then the WrestleMania 26 Shawn, like the whole kind of point of him coming out there was he didn't have a lot of bells and whistles. He just had the vest, and like that was it. So it was cool to be able to get that as obviously his retirement match before he came back in Saudi Arabia. But even that has been celebrated in figure form. So these are the last 3 I have here of the Ruthless Aggression era, and we've got one more Shawn to look at. And lastly, speaking of Saudi Arabia, I think it was Crown Jewel. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but Shawn Michaels briefly came back, and even as big of a Shawn Michaels fan as I was very disappointed. Not that I expected a lot. I think I was just disappointed that he came back and put on a stinker, which admittedly, he carried that match for what it was. and you can take that however you want. I'm not saying he carried anyone to a great match. It's just remembered for how comically bad it was. And it's like I'm a huge horror movie fan, and I love campy 80s horror slasher movies, and a lot of those, in my opinion, are so bad that they're fantastic. And maybe I'll just chalk up Shawn Michaels' last WWE match in that same department. But I had some extra legs of Shawn's, and I decided we'd just paint those up pretty easily, swap on the basic, like we got a basic of it. And this head sculpt, honestly, this is probably the best likeness they've given us. I think it's pretty spot on. If they could just recreate this, add some hair to it, like it captures the wrinkles and the forehead lines really well, which so weirdly bald Shawn is the best one they've given us. But it was just a very basic paint job. There is like vest decals I could get from Curb Stomp, but this is not something that I really just adore in my collection, so I haven't quite gotten around to it. But I'm gonna get all my Shawns, at least try to get all of them back in the ring here. I don't know if we're gonna be able to pose all of them. Maybe we'll just get the zoom out on the camera here, see if we can capture all of them, but then we'll wrap things up. And there we have it. There are all my Shawn Michaels on there, and I do think I fit everyone on there. I didn't put Marty Jannetty or the Sensational Sherry up there. I really want to try to squeeze all the Shawns in, so I like this new setup here. I've come a long way on Action Figure Showcase. A long way. Always trying to make things look a little better, but I'm pretty pleased with the end product here. But like I kind of have tried, I put what are kind of my favorites in the front here, like the WrestleMania 14, Survivor Series, and like with this purely nostalgia there, god awful attire. And then the WrestleMania 12, again, it's just like another moment that's big for me, like the boyhood dream. We've got the boyhood dream, and then we've got my boyhood dream of Shawn Michaels coming back and winning the title in the ugliest attire WWE's ever seen, right next to each other. And then that Amazon takeover one, even though the torso is a little bit big, that's still probably one of my favorites. I just like the hat, soft goods, all that just looks great together. So if you stuck around, I appreciate it. Please continue to like, share, subscribe, and remember, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy more action figures. Figure Dude